Hello guys, and welcome to the ProDota Cup series by Hitbox TV. We are watching the second best of two of the day between Regum Qeon and the Prime NND. It is an Indonesian matchup for the heavens. It is the Indonesian matchup because the Prime NND, for those of you who don't know, has some players from the old Regum Qeon. Or they should, at least in technically, and they are both Indonesian squads, one from Greater Jakarta, one from simply Jakarta, that being Regum Qeon, simply from Jakarta. Let's see who can take the Indonesian pride and bring home the victory. My name is DSwordfish, and I'll be your caster for this game, sorry. Let's get right into the draft. Regum Qeon picks up the Magnus Slark, Ricky Warlock. The Prime NND picks up the Crystal Maiden, Terrorblade, Omnite, Slardar. What is RQ gonna pick up last? They still need a mid laner. The Lina would have actually been quite good. Honestly, it comes to mind something along the lines of an Invoker. Not that bad against Terrorblade. OD also pretty good if you want. I mean, the Empower doesn't go too well. Actually, with OD it goes pretty decently because it increases your intelligence as a whole, so that increases your base damage. So Empower doesn't do that badly. But I do like the OD against the Omnite though. That Invoker still seems like a good idea because of the ability to go for the Tornado. However, Templar Assassin is the pick for them. Not bad either. I mean, doesn't do too well against Terrorblade, but does pretty well against Omnite and can destroy most anything the Prime can pick up. If they pick up a Storm, for example, Templar can usually beat him. The Storm would actually be a really terrible pick here, because of the Ricky, the RP, and they have a lot of stunts. Perhaps now they could themselves pick up the Invoker, but obviously the TA pretty strong. And it's that Invoker pickup. What else? I mean, the Invoker goes really well with Slardar and really well with Crystal Maiden, so honestly the Invoker again for Prime NND would be quite a good pick. On top of that, maybe something a bit simpler like OD if you want to fight against a Slark, and I wouldn't really suggest the OD versus Templar Assassin. If you want to win the lane completely, we could see a Viper, but that'd be a bit crazy, or a Venomancer, but he's not no one, right? We're not watching Virtus Pro play. Let's... What could they be picking up here? I mean, looking at the draft, so we have a clear mid-gamey draft by the Prime NND, where Regum Qeon is going full snowball. You know, Magnus for an easy lane. Oh, I like the Timbersaw pick. Magnus for an easy lane. Slark and Ricky for ganks early on. Warlock to sustain the Slark in lane. Templar Assassin to snowball together with the rest of your team. Whereas the Prime NND goes for something a bit less obvious. I guess less of a cohesive strategy, more of a versatile strategy. The Timbersaw and the Slardar to have decent late. Timbersaw, Slardar, Crystal Maiden, Omnite to guarantee you a decent early game, create some space for the Terrorblade, get to that mid game with the Terrorblade pretty farmed, use the Metamorphosis plus the Amplified damage to deal a ridiculous amount of damage to the enemy team, and take advantage of that Timbersaw pure damage to burst down most everything in Regum Qeon, including the Slark, for example, or the Magnus. Not really dealing with too many team fights past minute 15-20 once they have RPs. Fighting with their lower cooldown spells whenever the Warlock, Golem, and the RP is down, maybe even the Shadow Dance, and then take advantage of that superior skill that you have, right? Who has a better team? I kind of like Regum Qeon's teams a bit better. They did pretty decently in the SA qualifiers, this iteration of Regum Qeon, and they're actually improving quite a lot. They also have heroes like Slark, for example, whom they love playing, and the Ricky by Sheffer. In addition to that, Warlock, though Jokam seems to be a new player. However, this similar iteration with Sheffer, Koala, and Yabiyu did pretty well in the SA qualifiers. They do seem like the prime Indonesian team, though we're still yet to see what the last team has to offer, XD has to offer to us. So for now, I'll give it to Regum Qeon considering this draft, though it could be anyone's game like we mentioned earlier. It really there's no preference whatsoever. The drafts are both pretty cohesive, pretty strong. It all depends on what's better, synergy or versatility, I guess would be the two options. I don't really understand why they do this, because I'm pretty certain that some of these players do have Battle Pass and it just doesn't show, which is a bit weird, because I believe it's because it's a lobby or something along those lines. They should fix that, because if they're going to do that for lobbies, then they really should consider that. Why does one team has plus 175 and the other team doesn't? I do not understand that. I mean, has you given taggos to other people? No? Has someone used the smoke? Oh, right. These guys have used the smoke. Still, though, it shouldn't be that much of an advantage. Maybe smoke plus activated courier or something. Oh, they both activated courier. I actually don't know what the difference. That's weird. Why does RQ just have a flat 175? They just have a superior net worth. You know, they're just born with more gold. Wow, talk about class warfare here. We clearly have the rich Indonesian team versus the poor worker class Indonesian team. Who's gonna win? Is it gonna be the proletariat, or is it gonna be the capitalist pigs? Kidding, by the way, kidding. That's all a lie, obviously. You can change the title stream. Cool. So that said, guys, let's get right into the presentation of the teams. We're going to have in the Radiant side on the bottom left hand corner of the map, representing the good guys, the Radiant. It's going to be TP and NND, straight from Greater Jakarta. This organization which joined the Prime together with the NND organization recently to create this kind of mixed team. NND was something dragon, I kind of forgot, but essentially they joined TP, which was old RQ, together with this NND organization to create the superior Indonesian team. A lot of Indonesian teams up and coming, so it's a region that a lot of people is looking into, and it's looking quite good, honestly. A lot of good teams in this sector. That said, let's get right into the presentation of the players. My name is DSwordfish. I will be your caster for today. Hope you enjoy the cast. If you do, feel free to follow me on Twitter as per usual. I always put my link on stream or in the description below. Now, we're gonna have NFR as the timber saw in the in the mid position for this team. In the offlane is going to be Rusman as the Omni Knight. And the first position 4, we're going to have Slaughter. Oh, in the bottom lane, actually, Metamorphosis comes out, and that's a beautiful double stun. Actually, no, not beautiful double stun. It's a great stun stack. You know, not really working out. The Pounce would have saved him anyway, so he's alright. Anyway, R7 is going to be playing the Slaughter in the support position, as the carry is going to be Panda 2K17. We're just going to call him Panda from now on as the Golden Terror Blade. And then finally, as the second support, Coach as the Crystal Maiden. As for RRQ, we're going to have Jever on the Ricky in the support position. The second support being the Warlock, played by Jokam. Koala is going to be the Slark, leading this aggressive tri-lane with the Slark in the carry position. In the offlane, or rather in the solo lane, it's going to be BFL, Best Friends for Life? No. Best Friend Life? Yeah. Best Fat Life, I guess, on the Magnus in the solo lane. And then finally in the mid lane, we're going to have Yabiu as the TA. Sorry, I was so concentrated with BFL's name that we missed the kill down in the bottom lane. Jokam managed to get that first blood. Pounce not available yet. They want to go on to Panda. They're actually blocking quite a lot. The Pounce is about to be available in just 4 seconds. Metamorphosis is not Coach, playing really dangerously, giving his life up pretty much for nothing there. Slark gets a kill, man. That's the second kill for the guys down bottom. This aggressive tri-lane working pretty decently for them. We've seen a lot of aggressive tri-lanes like with the Warlock, a la Legion. I mean, Legion Commander Warlock pretty much has been the aggressive tri-lane of the Kiev Major. Aggressive dual lane of the Kiev Major, sorry, not really tri-lane. But it works out pretty well. It is going to be Rusmania, the Omni Knight in the mid lane, and then top lane, Timbersaw off lane. Okay. But why this lane works, or why the Warlock works so well in the aggressive tri-lane is that you are allowed to just pretty much heal your carry the whole time. In addition to harassing with Fatal Bonds, which is pretty good. But the whole point is not to get kills as much as the old aggressive tri-lanes, as in TI3 and whatnot, but rather to just harass the enemy carry out of lane and not let him farm too much. It's the same tri-lanes we saw back when Luna was used to be played almost constantly in these tri-lanes. Though Koala is not going to do as well as the Luna. I mean, he should honestly not be that bad off. In fact, I would suspect he might be able to surpass the... Yeah, equal, at least rival the Terrorblade's farm with just this creep wave. Honestly, Koala and Terrorblade are pretty equal. But once you get he gets a couple levels, especially a couple levels of Dark Pact, the Terrorblade's going to suffer quite a lot. Reflection is not too good against the Slark, because it doesn't grant you the vision, even if it follows him. But the Dark Pact plus Pounce is very strong to finish off this Terrorblade, in addition to the Ricky help, obviously, to help you up. I mean, one smoke screen and Terrorblade's put in a really dangerous position. He already went for 1 level of Reflection, which is great. Getting that slow is very useful against anyone. And you can't dispel it as Lurk, so that's great. I don't know if you can actually dispel it. Honestly, it's dispellable, but I've never seen you being able to just auto-dispel Lotus Orb with Dark Pact. We'll see, I guess, in this lane. And being able to steal stats, by the way, is fantastic when you're up against a melee support and a melee carry. He's not going to use Metamorphosis to farm too often, because he has to use it as a counter initiation in case you decide to go on him with a Shadow Word plus Dark Pounce Dark Pact. And that means that he's going to have a hard time last hitting, and Koala's going to be able to essence shift him away out of the lane. So that's pretty good. And the best part is that once you get a couple essence shifts up, like he's doing right now, it'll be more dangerous to engage him because the Slark is going to hurt quite a lot. For every essence shift, you get essentially 3 damage, and in addition to a bit of attack speed and a bit of armor, so you don't really want to initiate upon him, especially with Slithering Crush, just physical damage, right? The Shadow Word also makes sure that Slark keeps himself alive. He can play pretty aggressively thanks to that Shadow Word. The only issue here is that you're leaving Timbersaw kind of alone, and Timbersaw versus Magnus is kind of it's a very, very beneficial lane for Timbersaw, with that Whirling Death being able to take away the Magnus' stats. And we're seeing another one of those Timbersaw builds where you go for Whirling Death early and you just get 2 levels for some strange reason. To last hit better, I can only presume, because he is winning the lane, but it's not that strong of a build. The cooldown, there's no cooldown reduction, there's no increase in damage really for the Magnus, because the main damage comes from the Whirling Death anyway, and it is magical damage, so the extra 50 damage is not that great. Going for a level of Timber Chain is usually better, but if you do want to get better last hits, I guess the Whirling Death build is a bit better. Well, I mean, it's not better, I guess. It's just it's there. It's a possibility. Coach is being harassed severely by the Ricky, but with only 1 level of Cloak and Dagger and no level in Smokescreen or Blink Strike yet. He's level 2, but he's reserving that level. Hard to get a kill on the Crystal Maiden. I don't think he even wants to try, honestly. He just kind of wants to harass her, try to see if there's a bounty rune. Obviously, the bounty rune was taken by her. And now the Ricky can rotate, which is important because the supports down bottom can't. I mean, they can rotate the Crystal Maiden to some degree, but you don't want to leave the Terrorblade alone against the Slark, usually, because even the Slark won't die against Terrorblade. The Warlock is not going to leave this lane very often, and the Slark is going to be able to outfarm the Terrorblade for sure, because of the Essence Shift harassment. So the Crystal Maiden is more inclined to stay in this lane, thus allowing this mid lane matchup to kind of continue alone. And this mid lane matchup was originally thought of, at least in my behalf, Yabiyu I thought I was going to win. Turns out Yabiyu is, yep, dead. that was so obvious it was going to happen. Yabiyu was trying to get the kill before Rusman could just purify him to death, but that purification deals a ridiculous amount of damage, especially early on in the game. It's already level 3, and Rusman is actually winning this mid lane against TA. His high armor in the early game is helping him out ridiculously. DFL, oh no. Big fat loser, apparently. No, kidding. Because he actually skewers away, so he's going to be alright. Slithering Crush might catch him out just to the tip. Just the tip. Come on, PFL, run away. No, that Frostbite. Now the poor Slithering Crush and the Whirling Death to finish off the Magnus. The poor Magnus suffers from the Slithering Crush, and now that Whirling Death to kill him off. The Pounce, though, catches Panda. Puts him in a difficult position as Shadow Word also comes out. The Dark Pact, it does not purge away the Reflect, so that's just a misprint. Yeah, I thought so, too. The Slark wants to continue fighting. It's a bit difficult here. Oh, Jokam? Really? Oh, okay. The Shadow Word just was finishing him off. I was going to say, Terribly wants to. I thought we wanted to get like a counter kill, but against the Shadow Word damage, it's just too much damage early on in the game. It's only level 2 Shadow Word. He hasn't even gone for any other spells, but it's all you really need. That's a 25 times 12 damage, so 300 damage at level 2. That's almost half of Terrorblade's health, considering that he suffers a lot against magical damage because of his low HP. Also, let's not forget that, yeah, you do have a 25% reduction, but that would still be around a 225 like pure damage per second. And you still suffer the damage of the Dark Pact, which is a whole 225 damage itself, which would be around 175 to 180 pure damage, again, quote unquote, considering the minus 25% natural magic resistance in a hero. And that's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much it. The Terrorblade is not going to have the easy stuff lanes, as you can see, but the TA isn't either, so I think this Omnight is really, this mid Omnight is working really well for this team. They thought that this mid lane matchup would be much more beneficial to the TA. It was not. Rusman with his high armor and his purification is working wonders here, in addition to the Arcane Aura helping him out considerably. If you look at the levels, he's just leading in levels together with Timbersaw, so they're actually going to have a pretty decent mid game. Well, then we're on the Slark in the bottom lane. It's Fish Wars here. Koala versus Slardar. Is he gonna make it out? Koala, right from Australia, gonna be brought down under again with one last bash of the deep. Sheffer be caught with a Frostbite. The Chakram to finish him off. The smoke screen preventing the Chakram from coming back to the Timbersaw. Eventually comes back regardless, and he's gonna go down. Now, there's a couple questions I'm seeing here. Is In Your Dream playing in this game? I'm unsure, honestly. If I'm not mentioning the... Oh, wait. Fonda is actually being harassed here by the Pounce. The Shadow Word as well. The Dark Pack. Gonna catch him out. Panda about to go down, but the Shadow Word is what's gonna finish him off. Sheffer even blink strikes to him, gets the kill in the end. And that's Sheffer, a free kill for him. But like I said, sorry, in your dream, any names that we are mentioning is because the teams have not specified who's a stand-in and who's not. We do know that there's only 2 stand-ins, but they only tell the admin that. I'm just the caster, so they have not told us specifically who's who. So if you don't see in your dream in the game or the name, then he's probably not playing. I know he's a common RRQ player, or should be playing for RRQ at the very least. How does this game work? How to win? You take the enemy, you take the ancient, these little things. Whoever takes the ancient first wins the game. So that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple game, isn't it? It's almost like, it's pretty much checkers. Ruse mine here in this mid lane, harassing Yabiyu a bit further, but Sheffer is now joining him with a smoke screen. It's a bit harder to defend. I mean, they don't know this, but like the smoke screen could come at any second with a melt, with a refraction. That's a lot of damage, plus the silence to make sure that the repel doesn't happen, or the purification. So puts the Omni in a difficult position. Omni did see him though. That's a good sentry ward. Very aggressive, just outside the range of the tower, as you can see. Barely outside the range of the tower. Very useful though, because the Riki has a hard time taking it down. You really have to use a sentry to begin with, and besides that, the Riki has to go out and take it. So I really like the sentry ward actually. Very aggressive. Gonna work well for this team. Oh, he's been rooted down in the middle lane. Yabiyu's being healed by the Shadow Word though. Gonna try to use one of her traps to escape the smoke screen as well, helping her out. But Crystal Nova to finish her off, and Sheffer now puts himself in the middle of the fray, and the Wolf is about to shut his mouth right onto the Riki's face. They take down 2 for none pretty much, as Bruce Mine still looking for another kill. They find the Magnus, but the Skewer brings him down into the enemy territory. He's fighting against the Magnus and against the Centaur, but then Omnia is just bringing down the Magnus with his hammer. That Degenor dealing a ridiculous amount of slow with the phase boots. You cannot outrun this Omni Knight, who's just gonna batter you to death pretty much. That he turned the poor Magnus into a pancake. And now they're gonna go onto the tier 2 in the mid lane, or tier 1 into the mid lane, sorry. And this tier 1 gonna take a considerable amount of damage now. Be brought down by the Omnite, who's actually won his lane, going for a Midas. Seems like the Omnite carry is the way to go. Meanwhile, Yabiyu being brought down to the top lane, using the haste rune efficiently. This Crystal Maiden gets a kill onto the TA, taking advantage of that Timbersaw pick. And it does seem like the early game is going really well for the guys at TP NND. This Indonesian team seems to be doing better than the other Indonesian teams, so good. No, but obviously the early game is a bit more beneficial for them. They had better lanes. The Ahmed has been playing fantastically well, and all they're looking for right now is a bit of space for the Terrorblade to farm, who's not that underfarmed if you consider, compared to the Slark. 700 difference. It's not that big a difference. Comparing the TA to the Omnite gives you 1200, which is considerably more. It's almost double. So the Terrorblade is not that bad off, especially considering he can farm pretty efficiently, but you still want to create a bit of space for him. Now, NFR, careful here, because there's a lot of magical damage in the enemy team and a smoke screen as well, so this might be not the best place to fight. There's a smoke screen, they're being brought down, the Rock as well, he's still silenced, and the Mill dealing almost no damage. And the TP in the middle of the Whirling Death, gonna try to stop the TP, there's no stuns on anyone here. That's the issue. 2 supports, no stun on either of them, makes it so that TPing away from them is quite easy. Of course, the idea is that the TA is able to take able to kill people quickly, so you don't really need as many stuns to stop TPs. But obviously against Timbersaw, that's not the case. The Timbersaw can almost always TP from this enemy team, unless the Slug has Basher or an RP is used. Look at the Omnite go. I mean, just using the phase boots plus the Midas extra damage that it gives you, they're already taking a huge advantage. The Omnite playing super aggressively, just man-fighting anyone he sees, using that high amount of armor you get in the early game and the extra damage, and they find the ward. This Sentry Ward working wonders, even to its death. 20 seconds till the Sentry Ward expires, and they've already gotten a kill earlier on the Riki, and now a kill onto Jokam. Somehow the enemy team did not notice this, and that's another kill for TP NND. Not going to see the Riki. They do have a dust though. Yeah, if the Riki makes any sort of sudden movements, they could just kill him off. That's the Sunder onto the Magnus. The reflection should be able to see him Now they're gonna TP away. We don't have enough damage to kill him off. Metamorphosis is on cooldown anyway, so after all, they're just looking for some farm for the Terrorblade. Who's now still 700 away, pretty much. No, yeah, 700 away from the Slark, so that difference is not getting any shorter. But the Omnite is kind of farming out of control at this point with the Midas. He's really above the TA's farm. Consider the TA has 3,800, so what? That's 1,900 difference between the TA and the Omnite now. The Omnite's going to become a real carry at this point. Yeah, sorry about the Steam thing. That's not on purpose. I should have muted it beforehand. But it's all good. It's all good, guys. Bloodstone onto the Timbersaw already. That's a pretty early Bloodstone. 15% full amplification of the Magnus. That's interesting pickup. Seems to be more of a utility Magnus, apparently. And this mid lane, by the way, they found the Ricky. They have a Dust, so they can actually use it as soon as it comes out. They even have the amplified damage. He can't spell it off himself. That's a dead Ricky. Ever since the Diffusal Blade nerf, the Slaughter is just a hard counter to you, and it's really hard to take away any sort of thing that gives you visibility, including Dust. So, Dust, Amplified Damage Track, they all just go pretty heavily. He can't play, if he plays aggressively a la Boboka style, then he really has to play suicidally, because that's the only way to play that way. Because his team is already losing by a lot. He's giving a lot of defensive vision, but they can't really utilize it too well. If you guys are RQ, you're more waiting for TP NND to make a mistake. The Prime, by the way, NND is what they're called, but they're more waiting for them to make a mistake and for you to punish that mistake more than for you to be able to gank them. Even with your RP and your Warlock ultimate, they can really play around you because of their the natural tankings of their heroes. Two of their cores are insanely tanky, that being the Omnite and the Timbersaw. And the Terrorblade has a lot of armor, so even though he's not that tanky, the TA can't deal that much damage to him. So getting kills right now, not that easy. Meanwhile, in this mid lane, they seem to be going for the TA. They found her in a difficult position. There's the amplified damage, and Dust as well. No need for both of them, but hey, why not? I mean, they were just celebrating with a Dust, you know? They were just celebrating they can get the TA. And they do get the kill onto the enemy mid. That is minute 14 and 8,000 net worth difference already benefiting the guys with TP and ND, almost getting to that 10,000. In terms of experience, they're only 4,000 above, so not that much, but it's still considerable. And Pen has managed to recover pretty well, only 300 or 400 away from the Slark at this point. Managed to farm a bit better than before and recovered his farm decently. Whereas the Timbersaw and the Omnite just snowballing out of control. I mean, this Omnite is going to be able to get a what? Is this serious? It's going to be a 16 to 17 minute radiance on an Omni Knight. Man, that's better than Naga Siren. Naga Siren or Spectre Radiance, like mad timing, is, and that's naked, well not naked, usually with treads, it's 20 minutes in, like usually 20 minutes in is like a mad, like yeah okay, you've done decently on it. So the fact that this guy went for the Radiant, like has the Radiant so early, plus a Midas, plus Phase Boots, plus the Infused Rain Dust, plus a 4-mana shield, that's a ridiculous amount of farm this Omni is having. That's really good for your team. I mean, his gold per minute is actually around the 500 for an Omni Knight. That shows how great those buffs to Purification and his cast point were. Those buffs actually made him really valuable. Yeah, Prime is kind of good, isn't it? Prime is playing kind of well. Yeah, I'm glad to be having engaged viewers, guys. Congratulations. Thanks for talking. It's enjoyable to be able to chat with the chat. If there's not many viewers, obviously, I tend to. So RP only onto the Omnite, or is that? Yeah, that's only onto the Omnite. That's an important kill regardless. Coach is actually going to go down here as well. Sling Crush to stop the aggression, but instead R7 has just put himself in the eyes, or in the side of the Slark. Instead, they're going to go for Pan. That seems like a better objective anyway. The Pounce hits him. That's silence from the Ricky, and that's going to be a dead Terrorblade as well. That's 3 dead for the guys at TP, NND. Oh, the Prime looking good, but maybe not good enough to just snowball this game out of control. They didn't have that much advantage just yet. The Timbersaw doesn't die though, which is important, so no lost Bloodstone charges. The Slaughter still survives because that sprint was fantastic, and that's the important part anyway. Losing the Omnite was big deal, and they do delay his Radiance. It's not going to be a 17-minute Radiance as I predicted. It's more going to be 18 minutes, 19 minutes Radiance, but still pretty good timing regardless. You're an Omnite after all. You don't really need the item anyway. Slithering Crush, catches the Magnus, now the Whirling Death, plus the Chakram, plus that chain. BFL has no way of making out of this alive. The sprint is just gonna catch him wherever he goes, and Hussein Fish will finish off this poor Magnus while in the mid lane. They are planning on taking down this tower. The Omnite is just kind of hanging about because why not? I just want to point out, by the way, weird build on the start going for 15 damage over the lifesteal. Lifesteal is just so useful, but oh well. Go for that extra early game potential, but it doesn't seem to be working too well for them. Now, this tower's going to go down easily. The Terrorblade has an insane amount of pushing power. This is going to help him recover as well. That last team fight really benefited the Slark. Terrorblade, you know, lost a lot of gold there, especially against the TA, who is now recovering pretty well. You can't really rely on your... Or the idea is not to rely on your Omnite for sustenance and as the carry, so... he does grab the Radiance. He does grab the Radiance, though, which... I don't know how strong this Radiance is going to be this game. I mean, it's pretty powerful against the Slark because you're going to miss a lot of attacks. The TA as well, because you can burn Refraction charges as well. So, it's a decent pickup. I still wonder how strong the Omnite can be as a carry, but that plus 100 damage level 20 is pretty nice. Oh, that's a dead Sheffield. I mean, he tries to steal the Aegis. Oh, that's a great RP. Onto 3. The Skewer. The Warlock ultimate. They don't need for the Skewer. The Skewer is just going to be used for damage. NND surviving this, though. NFR there. Jesus Christ, with a Chakram. Managing to survive the whole ordeal as they now go on to Jokam, even using the freezing field to destroy that Golem. And the guys at TP NND survive this assault and turn it around completely. The only death there, if I'm not mistaken, was the Aegis. Wow, what a play. Despite a 3-man RP, the Timbersaw lasts long enough, and with the help of the Omnite, it was almost impossible to die. And the Omnite did take that Aegis, if I'm not mistaken, because there's no way he popped back, right? Yeah, I didn't see that. Okay. He took the Aegis, and now they're going to be able to take this mid tower because of that smart pickup. Deciding to give the Aegis to the Omnite there was incredibly smart because he's the main target anyway. You have to get rid of the Guardian Angel to repel, but he didn't even need to use the Guardian Angel, mind you. However, you need to get rid of those to be able to really kill the Omnite and... Sorry, to be able to kill anyone in this team, and it's really hard because he had the Aegis, so you have to concentrate on him first. And there's no way. There's no way of winning when you have a carry Omnite. He's just very powerful. He serves the same role as the Abaddon, where he not only saves his team but also deals a lot of damage to you. And you're like, what? What am I supposed to do? He's super tanky. He saves his team and also deals a lot of damage. So should I concentrate on him first, or should I just let him be and hope and kill the weaker ones in his team? What am I supposed to do? He's going to purify them and repel. And I mean, right now with the 60 gold per minute, it actually helps considerably since he went for the carry build. The 20% XP gain not that good because he can just delay the 100 damage a bit later. Just grab it a bit later once his items. It's not big deal. He always repel the Timbersaw. He's afraid of the silence affecting him, or the Terrorblade. The missed chance a bit more annoying right now than the silence. He's gonna start taking this tower. This golden Terrorblade is actually hitting pretty hard. I know that's a golden Terrorblade. I've never seen this before. It seems like the Arcana. He just this golden effect is just taking down these towers. Melee racks being hit quite heavily. Oh, the Slithering Crutch actually have the Ricky, but they don't have the amplified damage. The upheaval being quite annoying onto the Timbersaw. They want to kill this Warlock. Timbersaw just walking. Poor Timbersaw. It's like he's taking his shit. He just can't walk any further. The Guardian Angel catches 4 though, and that's a perfect Guardian Angel. The RP barely does anything. The freezing field also destroying the Magnus, and the kill of TA in quick succession. Koala trying to run away, purges off the amplified damage, and now can Shadow Blade away, but that's only for healing, as the bottom tier 3 and now the racks will be going down. They can take the ones in the mid lane as well. The Omnite can offer a lot of healing, and they even have the help from Panda and his illusions to take down this tower. The Warlock is only here pretty much as cannon fodder, as the Golem is still not up. 7 seconds though, this would be the counter initiation they're looking for. If at any second though they just have to go on him and kill him, the Terrorblade still, sorry, that does not have Sunder. There's no Guardian Angel and there's no freezing field, so this would be the time to leave if you're the guys at the Prime NND. Yeah, they're playing pretty well here in the Prime. I mean, they're taking some really good fights, not letting Omnite die, and being able to counter initiate pretty much whatever our Q is doing. And if you can survive their initiation, this is not good. Did you know you can repel off or purge off the pounce? Yeah, that's not gonna do anything. And he's actually going, Rosemont is actually going for the Shivas, which I love against the Slark, giving you a bit more area damage, giving you vision of him if he decides to pounce into a weird position, so that's also very important. And delaying his, or reducing his attack speed and his movement speed is great while in a team fight. Slark kind of relies on going in and out of vision. The Shivas really screws you over in that regard because Shivas gives vision in the area. That's an important thing to note. The extra 200 damage is great. The extra armor is fantastic against what the enemy team has because you already have a good natural armor, so it just adds a lot to it. And obviously, the extra regen or mana regen is never not welcome, right? And you kind of go for a bit of a split push here as well if you decide to play that way. You have to fix replay function? What do you mean replay function? I don't know what I'm talking about. If you do want to watch the replay, Mr. Joe Menvest, If you do, like, you know, you saw a good time or a good play in the game, you're like, oh, I want to watch it. I'll be posting all the PD Cup VODs in my personal YouTube channel. So feel free to follow me on Twitter, and then you can see all the VODs. You can rewatch your favorite matches, or if you missed any match, you're like, oh, who won, or whatever. Because this Dota is pretty good. It's at a level that's pretty good. It's enjoyable to watch, and sometimes maybe you just want to have it in the background. So, and also people can't watch it at full quality in Hitbox. All my replays are 180p. That's the quality I stream at. So, and record it. So you'll enjoy that. If you do want to check that out, so just follow me on Twitter and you'll see. I'll usually post when I post up the replays. I usually make a little post on Twitter saying, okay, here are the replays for anyone interested. Oh, and that's that. Am I just kidding? A lot of fun. Interesting. Did I just see a solar crest in the timber saw? Yes, I did. Wow, this is the item of the patch. Jesus Christ. I mean, I know the shine is really good plus the amplified damage, but it's getting a bit ridiculous. You get a timber saw with a solar crest. The evasion is really good against a Slark, but a Slark who went for a lot of damage early on, but has barely no sustain. I mean, that 15 damage, I guess, works decently with the Empower, but does not have any way to survive in team fights. He's meant to deal a lot of damage. They're relying a bit too much on this initiation for the Magnus and the Warlock, and it's clear that they just can't do so. They're missing damage, obviously, but I don't think the 15 damage was as necessary in that situation. You want more sustained team fights. That's still the late game, but the Terrorblade doesn't want to let you do that. Oh my god, that... Was that a Slark? No, that was Ricky. Okay, the Ricky just goes down in a matter of seconds thanks to the timber saw damage. They're gonna take the racks now. Racks in the mid lane, just trying to take away these illusions. And did they just force a shrine? I think that shrine was accidental, but forcing that shrine is actually crucial because that's gonna make it much harder to defend the space. The Terrorblade now wanted to take this top tower. I mean, they've already taken 2 sets of racks. It's actually quite hard to defend this, especially the bottom lane who is pushing in. So the enemy team RRQ here has to do a great team fight with some great RP shenanigans. You know, RP plus the rock to really win this game. Joe Kama is standing in a great position, by the way. So at any second he wants to initiate, he can just go in. Then the skewer, pick up the Terrorblade, still has Sunder, use the reflection, and there the RP can't come out. The tricks of the trade as well to save the Ricky's life. The RP finally comes out to finish with the Terrorblade, and they do get the kill on the enemy carry, but the All Might is hitting really hard. Has already taken down 2, and Ruzman is now wanting to take out Koala. Will manage to do so just with his hammer and the purification. Now going into the Golem, but Joe Kama is really annoying here with this upheaval. It's a better target to go onto this Warlock, take away all his armor, and just hammer him to death. That's the trick to do it, boys. Yabiyu now in the mid lane. He's melded up, but they know exactly where he is. The purification plus the the radiance damage will just finish him off. Yabiyu condemns himself to die in the middle of the racks, and the GG comes out by RRQ. It is clear who the better Indonesian squad is. It's gonna be the Prime NND. Nice job, guys. It seems like they demonstrate that they have the national pride on their side, and at least they're going to take the first game of this best of 2. As said, guys, we'll be coming back very soon, and I think 10 minutes or so with the next game of this best of 2 between the Prime NND and RRQ, Regum Qeon. Feel free, again, like I said, to follow me on Twitter if you enjoyed the cast, or if you do want to watch the replays, I'll be posting them there. I'll be putting the link in the description. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you guys in a few minutes with the next match of the day, with some more SCA Dota, right? Which I love watching. So I'll see you guys soon. Until then.